Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The time is exactly 11:39 a.m. This, of course, is the mid-morning show with me, Julie Alli, and we move along. We are now going to be talking with Mogamad Salie. He's going to talk to us about autism and the autism spectrum disorder. He has written a coming of age memoir about his childhood, and he is going to share how he coped not only through childhood, but now as an adult, and the words of encouragement and support he will put out for the people on the spectrum of autism throughout our community. Mogamad Salie, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the program. Nice to have you on the show this morning.
Hey, walaikum salam.
You are 45 years old
No,
now.
no, no,
When?
no. I was
No.
45 when I was diagnosed. I'm 54 now.
Oh my goodness me, you don't look a year older than 45. You carry your
Yeah.
age very, very well. Okay, so you're 54 years old. When did you realize there was, that you had a condition? What were the types of behaviors that were manifesting? What was going on in your mind and your body for you to kind of question and wonder, what's going on with me? I need to understand what's going on here, and I need to have it addressed.
Okay, it's like actually my whole life since a kid, I never felt connected to people. Okay, things like stuff, any objects, cars, computers, all kinds of things. Those things are always very simple for me to understand. However, any social connections with people was always difficult. Even when I used to visit my cousins, I grew up in Cape Town and we used to go to family functions a lot. And the cousins, I never knew how to play with them, connect with them, and it was always strange, all these social things. So it was always like my book is called Aloneness, where always a confusion, what to do, when to say what, when to start talking, how loud to talk, what to talk about. Whereas the others, they seem to kind of bond easily and just connect. So, but at that point, nobody knew I was autistic. So my mother just kind of said, well, you don't need to do all the social stuff that's confusing for you and all the smells and sounds and stuff that was disturbing me. She just said, okay, I don't need to go there. I can just stay away. So actually I had this always. However, I never knew it was autism. And my wife, after like 11 years, she noticed there was always something strange about me. Like even though I can speak English and do all that, the way I use words and stuff is different to her. Like if it's not very specific, like if she says, uh, if someone says to me, "Oh, we're coming in a short time," to me that is completely confusing because I need to know in exact minutes, not a short time. Short time could be nothing to me, so I would always clarify like how many minutes is a short time, and this creates huge problems with everybody that that I'm dealing with because they assume I understand all this vague talk and it doesn't happen. So over like I was married about 12 years before my wife watched a program on autism and discovered that wow, that's exactly how I function. And this is when we started to look at autism and the rest. So we went to psychologists and all the different places and I got diagnosed. So yeah,
How,
that's the
what,
story.
what sort of an impact did it have on you knowing that you had autism? Because I see, Alhamdulillah, not only are you an author, but you're a qualified electrical engineer as well. And that is amazing because despite, the condition that, you have, I should imagine it's been difficult navigating through life because you talk about the challenges in socializing with people. And two of the most distinct characters of autism is the issue around sound, noise, smells, and taste. What exactly was it in your case that you found distasteful? What sort of noise could you not deal with? And what sort of smells and tastes was it
Uh,
very difficult for you to deal with?
So in our family, they say I'm the prototype because I have all five the sensory issues. Because I like to start with my vision. Okay, I do wear specs now because I can't see so good close anymore. However, I always had a light sensitive and still have a light sensitivity. So I need to wear polarized sunglasses everywhere, like a slightest little light in supermarkets, in restaurants, in shops, everywhere. I always wear my sunglasses because the light just gives me instant headaches. Like when I was younger, didn't know what was giving me the headache. So when I was like, I used to go in the sun or be in light places, and I would get nauseous headaches, huge headaches, vomit, all that kind of stuff. I never knew what it was, and that was triggered by the light. A lot of it was the light. So now I wear everywhere I go, I wear my my sunglasses, and people think I'm being difficult, but it's just yeah, so even in the molds or everywhere. So I can see this flickering of the fluorescent lights and everything. It just drives me crazy. So now when it comes to sounds, there's like ticking, small ticking, and high frequency sounds is still a big problem. And I can hear the smallest tick when nobody else is hearing any tick. And if it comes up, I need to find it. And that's also part of autism. We can't stop. It's like the issue is so extreme that I have to look for this ticking sound and stop it. The funny story is when I was young, and my mother, it was very important to me. However, she wore dentures, and when she had it in her mouth, the dentures didn't fit completely like flush. So she used to move it around and made a clicking sound. It was so disturbing. So when she used to drive with me in the car, I said, "Look, mommy, take out your dentures and put it in a tissue because I can't handle that sound. It's driving me crazy." So that's the sound.
And
And
she
then
was okay with that, and she was okay with that.
oh
Did she
yeah,
understand?
no, I my mother was very quite amazing. I mean, she passed away now in 2008. However, she understood me, and she didn't know I was autistic, but she did everything right, how to deal with an autistic kid. But in those days, in the 70s and 80s, the her family didn't know what was going on. All they saw was that she was giving me special privileges like food. I mean, you asked about the eating. I can't eat. I still don't like soft boiled onions and things. And it's not just that I don't like it. What happens because autism, I found out, is the way your neural systems link differently. Sorry, there might be noise here. So when the food and the taste go in, it's extreme reaction. So if I eat soft onions or cooked tomatoes, it kind of makes me vomit. I can't eat it. It's just too much. I can feel it going in, and so so my mother used to make sure that I have the correct like food that I can handle. So
What do
that's the
you
taste.
eat? What is the food that you can handle? And just before we respond to that question, we do know that autism is on a spectrum. So you might, and you've indicated that you have all five of on the spectrum, but you could
No, all
also
five
be
of the
on the on the
sensory issues.
sensory. Okay, so you
Yeah.
could be on the lowest end of the spectrum, or on the mid or the high, and it would be very different from person to person. But in your case, we're talking about your experience with autism and how challenging it might have been, and probably still is, for your loved ones. What type of food do you enjoy, and why?
So yeah, like I mean, I like food that's not soft cooked, and so it's difficult to say because it changes. But I think the trend is like meat and protein and chicken and fish and things that's hard cooked and not too soggy. That's okay for me, and rice and things like that. Now that I'm older, I know some things are not nice. Like in the past when I was a kid, if I ate too soft onions, I couldn't handle it. So, but now that I'm older, I know, okay, I can't just, get my way. So now that even not long ago, I had a burger at some restaurant, and they cooked the onions so soft, and I just swallowed it very fast and drank a lot of water and then ate the rest of the stuff that I like the burger and the patties. But at home, I'll never eat like onions and the funny thing is with my wife, sometimes I'll say, oh, I like that kind of new textured food or rice or something, and then she'll make it, and then next day she'll give it to me, and then when I eat it, then it doesn't work anymore. It's like I can't really explain it. It just changes the
It's very
taste. So
fluid. It just changes all the time.
yeah.
I understand that. Tell us a little bit about when you were a kid. I understand that you had an accident where you were burnt pretty badly. And did that accident then result in you being bullied at school, or was it because of your autistic behavior that you were being bullied and marginalized at school?
Okay, the leg burn, that was, I had full 100% burns on my legs. Okay, and about 60% of it was third degree, so it was really bad for a year. And there was scars that I still have, and these scars kids used to make. I don't know. Some made fun of it. Some said stupid comments. Some made like, "Oh, you look like a leprechaun," and so that wasn't cool, but that drove me. I didn't like that. And so I never wore shorts until I was 45 in public because of that embarrassment. And but it drove me to be very like fit because I thought, well, I might be look ugly with my burnt legs, but I'm gonna be a fit, strong person, and show them that I can do stuff. However,
Wow. How did you
the
how did you how did you get burnt?
when I was 4 years old, we visited some family, and their my cousins, who were about 6 to 8 years older than me, so they were 10 to 14 years old, and they they were making a fire. And so the one I was standing near the fire and watching it. So the one cousin, he had a can of petrol in his
Oh,
hand, and he threw it onto the fire. But so the petrol flamed up into his hand, and then he just threw the can and it fell on my pants, and I was burning.
oh, I'm so, so sorry to hear about that. Um, but look at
So
you
the second
today.
part, sorry, the
Yes,
second
carry
part of
on.
the question was, I don't think I was like excluded, but not really bullied, because my mother made me feel very confident. So I was always with her. So I'm not a quiet autistic guy. I have two daughters who are autistic, and the one is very quiet. When things bother her, she implodes. She goes quiet. She'll just say nothing. She'll be quiet and do nothing. But me, I'm the opposite, and my mother always stood by me. So if stuff bothered me, I would voice it out. And if it was at school, I would check the situation, and if people want to, sometimes boys do hit me and stuff, but I would fight back because I knew my mother would be on my side. So if I went and they found it, but I never went to tell her or anything. I just knew that it was there. So what happened was, normally the teachers would tell my mother, or Mohammed had something at school again or something, but I would just react. And so it was difficult to fit into, especially when they played games like team sports and those things. It's very complicated. So I was always excluded there.
And here you are, an author and a qualified electrical engineer. Alhamdulillah. Let's go for an ad break. We'll come back and talk some more about your experience and as a person with autism, what's the advice you can give to other people suffering from the same condition on this a very amazing month, which is dedicated to people with autism. So please stay with us.
Onion this Ramadan.
From samosas and half moons to cook sisters and roti, everything between iftar and seri makes sunfoil cooking oil an essential part of your Ramadan. Approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a healthy diet, this blessed month, give your family the best with sunfoil, because tradition just tastes better.
This Ramadan, join hands with Muslim hands to make a meaningful difference in the lives of millions worldwide. Your zakah and sadaqah can be the lifeline for those in need. Together we can nourish the hungry in South Africa and across the globe. offer clean water to impoverished communities, empower women with sustainable livelihoods, and bring relief to families grappling with the aftermath of natural disasters and conflict. Be their beacon of hope today. Connect with us at muslimhands.org.za or dial 021 633 6413 to extend your support.
World-class financial services only at Sapphire Global, your financial partner. If you are looking for Islamic Sharia and ethical financial products, look no further. Sapphire Global offers a wide range of financial service offerings from short-term to life and investments. A full-service center with all financial requirements under one brand. Our highly skilled and experienced consultants are ready to help protect your financial future. Contact us on 041 001 0184 or visit our website on www.sapphireglobalfs.com. Sapphire Global is an authorized financial services provider.
Are you looking for a cross-border road transport company that is committed in achieving high safety standards, who is fast and efficient, and also excel in customer service? Gardi Global specializes in cross-border transport from South Africa to Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Malawi. Gardi Global, situated at 10 Daniel Road, Benrose, Johannesburg. For inquiries, contact our trained staff on 011 614 3108 or email info@gardiglobal.co.za. Safe long haul into Africa is our business. Gardi Global Transport.
Salam Media, your spiritual companion this Ramadan.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome back. It's exactly 11:56. We are talking autism. It was Autism Awareness Day on the 2nd of April, which was, of course, yesterday. And, of course, the entire month is dedicated to the awareness of people suffering from autism. Our guest is Mogamad Salie. He is an author. He's also a qualified electrical engineer, and he's talking about this particular situation. Alhamdulillah, by way of this interview, we can make people more aware about autism, the spectrum. What does it mean when we talk about the spectrum? The types of signs and symptoms that one ought to be looking out for, and we will try and cover all of that as we go along. But welcome back to you, Mohammed, and let's ask this question. I was out visiting some friends a little while ago, and this little boyki that was about 18 months old or 20 months old was busy lining up all his toy cars in a very precise formation and color coding the cars as well. And at that, I mean, he was 18, 20 months old, knew exactly all the colors of the cars. He wouldn't have them mixed up. He was so precise in the way he parked these cars on the window ledge. And I said to his mom, or was it his aunt, I said, gosh, don't tell me he's going to be OCD. He seemed to be displaying those tendencies. And she said, no, I'm actually wondering if that is not a sign of autism. The precise nature of everything has to be very uniform, very rigid, very exact. Do you find that was similar to your condition, or is it just one of the conditions on the spectrum?
Yes, it's just one of it, and yes, I also have that. Like I said earlier, that preciseness in the speaking. Like if you don't give me like it's 2 minutes from now, and then I don't know what you mean. Like if I'm coming soon. So in the same way, I also lined up toys and marbles and everything. I had my particular way of playing marbles as a young kid, and even when I was like young, I don't know when it started, but my father used to count with me, and I think this was probably like at 2 or 3 years old, maybe. It's quite young. I could count and add and do this. Because my father did this binary count. 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8. And I could do this into the thousands when I was 2, 3 years old. And I
Wow.
enjoyed it because to me it was just like a pattern, like a song I used to do with my father. And then I had my toys. which I needed to play with in a precise exact way. And anybody else touched it, I went totally crazy. I used to play with my marbles in the passage in the area we live. We had a long passage, and shoot it in a particular way, and it made certain sounds that I liked. And I could do this for hours alone. And if anybody came in, it would be like, no, don't do that. It's disturbing everything. So this also translates to like now I'm an engineer, so like for me mathematics patterns and those things are quite easy. And engineering is a precise kind of a precise thing. So for me that helps. So for the details, I'm very much into the details, but I tend to miss the overview of things a lot, especially socially. I can focus on things like textures, colors, heights, weights, and all that. But I miss the person. I miss what's going on with the human and the feelings and all that. Is just a mystery to me what's going on there. And so I can't read their minds or what's going on. So when we communicate, and I start asking questions to get clarity, people tend to feel I'm interviewing them because it's very robotic and I have not much facial expressions and stuff. So, yeah, so I think that boy, that's definitely lining up things is definitely my thing. Like my wife can sometimes she can like when we get some places I'll see things that's not straight and skew and pencil that's not lined up and I'll put it straight in the box or something and she'll see I'm doing this and then she'll just like go around and just knock it skew again and then just to watch it I will go back and straighten it again and that's her fun because she has to deal with my particular stuff all the time so she'll do this just to amuse herself sometimes.
A lot of people with, or some people with autism, depending where they're on the spectrum, are unable to express emotion. There are even some people with autism who are unable to smile, to show joy, to show happiness. They're not able to express all of that. But I have noticed you smiling with me several times on during the interview. I've also heard you talking about your wife, and it seems as if you have a wonderful relationship going there. How did you manage to form a relationship when there is one of the big issues, one of the challenges with autism? Doesn't matter on what spectrum, which end of the spectrum you might be on, emotion is a huge part, or non-display of emotion is a very huge part of this condition. Was it challenging trying to establish a relationship, a romantic relationship with your wife?
No. So the thing is, emotions are autistic people. My daughters are autistic as well, two of them, and other people. We all have emotions. It's just we have a different way of expressing it, and other people don't see it or understand it. And so it's the same way. Like me, I can't read like neurotypicals emotions and things correctly, and so I'm confused when I see their emotions, what they're actually saying, or doing, or thinking, or feeling. So I do have him, and I can laugh for my own things and things that I find funny, as well as other autistics are all the same. It's just that when it comes to interacting with people, it's not always clear what I can't read exactly what they are feeling or thinking, and they get mine incorrect. So how did I do to get a wife? Yeah, well, okay, this is quite funny. When I became a teenager, I realized that females or women or have other things about them that I also like. I never knew this until then. And then I decided, well, I need to get one of that for me, get a female or partner. So because she has things about her, especially like how they feel and what they say and things like that, which I didn't realize. And I didn't know how to get one. So I used to do, this is now autistic. I didn't know then, is we make lists and study. So that became one of my interesting topics. So I made lists and studied how am I going to get me a female. And because whatever I did didn't work, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. And so I just asked everybody that I met. And I didn't have a lot of contact to females or women, only my mother, and she didn't really explain that to me. So I only got incorrect information from guys, and I tried what they said, like you must smile, you must do things, and I don't know what else. and this never worked because it just looked robotic, you know. So
Mm.
so in the end, the only thing that worked was also because, like I said, when I got burnt, I decided to get fit and stay in shape. And I don't know, God made my brain so that I can do mathematics. So that's easy. So I was quite good at school. So that wasn't the problem to do maths and science and remember things. And so because of wanting to fit or show people that I'm okay with my body, I got quite in shape. You know, I was quite a fit guy, and lucky I had some gift in that direction. So I think what happened was I stayed in shape and I studied and I got a good education because I could do this. And in the end, this is what got me a wife or female, is that she saw me and said, "Well, I like how you look." And I said, "Okay, you fit in my list of requirements," and that's how it worked. And it's still like that. She just finds. Actually, I'm doing a YouTube channel on like somebody like my therapist. I'm seeing psychiatrists now because I have lots of social anxiety and issues. So, and it's quite complicated to do this. However, she said I should make a video, me talking to my wife and seeing from her point of view how it is to live with an autistic man. And I've started doing this now. And on the video, she says partly that what she likes is that my brain, how I analyze and go into details. Although she doesn't like me when with the overview problems that I have with people, but the details and the way I physically look still is something she likes, so that's okay. So there was nothing magic that I did to get it. It just given from God that made me look like this, and she liked that look. So, and but I just kept in shape and fit, and I think that might have helped.
Are you saying that all people suffering from autism, doesn't matter what end of the spectrum that they might be on, that eventually at some point in their lives they're going to have to get psychosocial support services, because if they don't, they're going to be struggling navigating through life? Question number one. Question number two, how are you, with all of the experiences, life experiences that you've had as an autistic person, going to help prepare your daughters for the real world?
Yes, so I can't talk for everybody because everyone on the spectrum is different. Okay, so you see, you met one autistic person, you only met one autistic person, something like that. So from my side, like I found out late, and I didn't know there were so many things I didn't realize I was doing, like masking, they call it, and just to fit in, and how stressed I was about the whole situation. So I needed now to go. It's like I'm finding out a lot of things about myself I didn't know. And so with my daughters, they're also quite old now. I mean, they're adults, they're 21 and 23.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and they already, so even both of them are seeing somebody now. So to just cope and figure out. So my oldest one also studied and is working as a engineer, just like me. And however, she struggles socially at work with the whole situation, and that is making it so stressed, and it totally gives her anxiety. Just like me, we panic, we go into extreme anxiety. This is why we get meltdowns. So for her to deal with that, she's also seeing someone now, because the problem, not the problem, the fact is that 98% of the human population is not autistic. So it's difficult to communicate with neurotypicals. However, to communicate with autistic people is a little bit easier, but it doesn't mean that it's like great. It doesn't mean that you are best friends with every autistic person. Just like neurotypical people, they are not friends with everybody. So it's complicated because autistic people might be very specific and have specific interests and ways how they do things. So even they, you know why you disconnect, but you might not connect. Whereas with neurotypicals, it's just a mystery. I have no clue what's going on there socially with them. And so this is why I see some therapists to help me kind of deal with that anxiety that goes with it. And this is what my daughters are doing now. So I try to prepare them, and I mean, we never knew about this when they were kids. So I only found out 8 years ago, it was 9 years now, that I'm autistic and that they could be on the spectrum as well. So in this 9 years, we're just finding out as much as possible about it.
Mohammed, you talk about having a meltdown. Is that common with people suffering from autism? And what pushes you to the point, or what pushes people with autism to the point of having a meltdown? Can you explain that to us, please?
So I always repeat, I can't speak for everyone, but for me and my kids, I can talk, and some people I know. So it's like when stuff go, I have this thing called PDA. It's pathological demand avoidance, which is connected to autism. It's something to do with autonomy. We struggle because firstly, I can't read people in the social, the intentions and stuff. It's very difficult. So this makes me scared of humans in the sense that I don't know if I can trust them. So this is like an instinctive, subconscious thing that's going on. So so anything that is beyond my control is extremely anxiety, gives me extreme anxiety, and it's like totally it goes. And the one thing about autistics like me, and I've heard from others also, is we're very black and white in the sense that either things are okay or it's not okay, and it's extremely not okay. It's not like we don't have levels. It's just very bad or okay. And when I get confused with humans, or things beyond my control is happening. For example, my daughter is now struggling with the social stuff at work, and this scares me because I'm worried for her, and I get completely worried, and I go into a loop thinking about this. And this is something I can't control. I can't control her bosses, her co-workers. I can't control how she's alone there in far away, and so it starts circulating in my head, and I try to work out solutions to fix it because my instinctive behavior is to want to find solutions and calculate and fix things. So I'm trying to calculate, and then I don't find solutions, and then it just goes in a circle, and it goes totally crazy, and it can make me kind of like break down. It's like, even like yesterday I was in a complete panic worrying about her because she didn't write the day, and I was totally in a panic. And even my wife was like saying, no, don't worry, she's gonna be okay, and she will write back later. And that unknown thing where things are unknown and I can't control it, some people will just like, okay, put it off for later, or I don't know how others function, but for me it's like a volcano, and it like gives physical pain, and it just doesn't switch off, and that can go into a meltdown. So I guess when I was a kid, when like sensory inputs or stuff that I couldn't control with the senses, or stuff with the social stuff, I used to throw like crazy tantrums. My brother, in the one video, he says I had my particular way I used to eat, and I used to eat with a certain spoon, and I used to make my porridge particularly dry because I don't like soggy stuff. And he would come and make it wet, and like throw more milk in it just to, because to him it was just irritating that I eat such dry porridge. And when he did this, I'll go crazy and shout. But to him it looks crazy, but to me it was in a very directed shout, because I knew if I shout and I get my mother there immediately, my mother has power over him and can tell him to give my spoon back or not to put extra milk in. So it was very directed in a sense. But if it didn't, come right, and I would just panic and go crazy. And sometimes I would just cry, or knock my head against the wall and stuff. But now as an adult, I know the feelings are still there. I don't cry like a baby anymore, but I do get like very strong emotion where I can feel inside like just tears start coming. Doesn't look like it because I'm quite a big strong guy, but it's very difficult to control. So that's the meltdown. It can go on for hours and hours, or sometimes days and weeks. Sometimes I'm in this state where when I can't control the external stuff, it just makes me completely crazy.
As
So
far
on
as
the
autism, as far as autism is concerned, you're very worried and you have a lot of anxiety about your daughter and her situation. Do you think in this day and age it would make sense to disclose to the workplace that this is the condition I am suffering with? Can you accommodate me and understand that there's certain things I'm not going to be able to manage, or I won't interact with you like other people interact because of my condition?
Yes, so like when I was working, at the moment I'm not working for a boss because I have a degenerative cervical disc problem. And but when I worked as an engineer, yes, like the lights, we had open plan offices at one point, and the windows were open, and it was very bright and it hurt my head. So I used to close the curtains, and then everybody complained. And then when I put on sunglasses, they say you can't sit with sunglasses in the office. And I was like, what? I mean, where is that written in the code of conduct? It's not written anywhere in the work, so why can't I do this? At this point, I didn't realize that I have autism, so I just had to fight it based on those kind of things. So the problem is, even though you tell people you're autistic, they can't see it because most people don't understand what it is. They only have a certain picture of what it is in their mind. But so sometimes maybe it's a good idea to get an official diagnosis, and you can tell your boss, look, I have this, and they might give you some accommodations if they understand. Because in South Africa, I think they're more accommodating, but in Europe, no, that they were at that point they were not accommodating because there was just about profit, and that was important. And I think in this country they might give you accommodation if you have an official diagnosis, but they might not even understand what's going on. So you need to start educating people about what is the issues. For example, like we at work, people come in and then everybody greets loud, and for me that's very complicated because sometimes I don't feel like talking. Sometimes I don't know what level of voice I must use to greet, how loud I must greet, what kind of tone I have to put into it. So when people walk in, they'll shout hello or whatever, and I would many times just walk in and I'll greet and sit down because it's, I get confused, like, should I say it in English, in Afrikaans, in German, and to greet who? And those kind of things, people see it, and then they put you in the corner as a strange guy, a rude guy, or whatever. But it has absolutely nothing to do with the work that I have to do as an engineer. So I'll say is the bosses, maybe they should realize that these people, they struggle socially, but they're doing their job as an engineer. So, and maybe with time, if they start understanding that they might be more accommodating for these, for like
Okay,
for
we need to wrap up now. Thank you so very much for being so very candid with us on the interview this morning. You spoke about a diagnosis where if one suspects that perhaps your loved one may be autistic, where and how do you go about having tests done to confirm that the person is in fact autistic, and what sort of treatment plans are in place? And again, I am cognizant of the fact that it is so vastly different from person to person because the spectrum is so wide, and no two people with autism have the exact same condition. However, where and how does one go about diagnosing if you do in fact have the condition?
so in South Africa, there's this organization called Neurodiversity Center. You can get a diagnosis through them. They're on the internet, Neurodiversity Center. And however, it's quite expensive for the average person. If you have a hospital plan, medical aid, then they normally cover that cost. But I guess most people in this country do not have even hospital plans, so they might not go there in that route. That is the quickest, most efficient route. But if you go via the, I don't know, the government system, that could take forever. And I'm not sure how that even works, you know. And sometimes you can go to a psychologist and they can say you're autistic, but that's not official diagnosis. You need to have some company that can stamp it as official. So the government can do this, but this, I don't know, it could take, you know, even just to get an appointment by the government hospital, it takes months, and I don't know how it, because we didn't go that route. Luckily I have hospital plan, medical aid, so we could just use the.
Okay, Mohammed, I need to leave now. I thank you truly for this fascinating interview with you. I've learned quite a bit. What do you want to leave us with today regarding autism and how people like myself should engage with people who have autism?
I think because everybody is needed in this society. I always get back to this. Although autistic people are only 2%, they say, of the population, and what happens? The normal people expect you. to do all these social things like a normal, like a neurotypical person. Because I mean, what is normal is confusing. So I would say if you meet somebody and you're not, and they are doing things that are not illegal or against the law or immoral or something, they may be just quiet, or they're not talking, or they're doing some walking around. Don't automatically think that person is a bad guy or difficult, because if you look at it, you'll see there's a whole lot of other things connected to it. Like sometimes some people are not greeting because they're struggling in it, or you get people that don't greet because they're maybe not the nicest person. But if you look at this person, you will see it very quickly. This person is doing a lot of other things as well that is strange, and then you can see, okay, they're not doing any illegal, immoral, or bad things. So we don't need to be so hard with them. For example, like if I come into a place and people want to shake my hand, like strangers want to shake my hand, and I'm like, no, I don't want to shake hands. I just don't like the feeling of it, the touch, the sensory touch. So don't be so hard on that person and immediately exclude them, because that's my message. Don't, because
Mogamad Salie, thank you indeed for your insights into your own condition, your daughters, and autism in general. You are an author and you're also an electrical engineer by profession. I salute you for rising up to your challenges. I also know we didn't even have time to touch on that. You hold a BJJ black belt, but perhaps when we talk again, we can go into the area of your sporting achievements. It's been wonderful talking with you. Thank you indeed. Keep well, and salamu alaikum to you.
Okay, salam, thank you.
It is exactly 12:21. News and views on Salam Media. Standing by to talk with us next is Dr. Sharifa Carlo, and she's obviously on the other end of the world. I think she's in the United States, and she's going to talk to us about the importance of Laylatul Qadr.